Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of To The Point podcast. Hope you guys are all doing well on this Wednesday night. I've had a couple of podcasts this week, but tonight's a special one because my guest tonight, we've been talking about doing something like this for, it seems like a couple of years, and we're finally going to be able to do it tonight. My guest tonight is Brennan Roach, great hockey coach, former player, great player, and just an overall good guy and a good friend of mine. So, Brennan, thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate being here, and I think this is awesome. I'm glad you finally started doing it. I think it's going to be some fun here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And obviously, we love all sports, and we text about golf sometimes and Patrick Reed and things of that
Oh,
nature. But
yeah.
with the big headline today coming out of Montreal, where they fired head coach Claude Julien and associate coach Kirk Muller this morning. What were your thoughts when it first came out? And what are your thoughts on the firing?
Well, I mean, they're just they're looking for reasons, and they're looking for a little bit of a change. I don't think they have the horses that a lot of teams do. I think, like even man for man, Calgary's a better team, more so than Montreal, really. But they're not. Like it's early in the season. They won early. But I think they're like fucking Jeff Petrie, a point and a half per game. Like he's gonna max out here. Like, he's gonna get them early, stuff like that. I think Ducharme was destined for the job. They you know, there could have been pressure from somewhere. But eventually that's what was gonna happen anyway, and they found a spot and whatever. I don't think it's gonna be that big a deal. It's not it's just a big deal because it's Montreal more so, if you ask me. But fucking Bergman could have picked a better jacket or get it. Like, there's no with that fucking hair, man. Like, oh,
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good.
oh, you look good, all right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, and anyway, I'm not. Anyway, I don't know. That's my take. Like, Julian did a pretty good job, but they're struggling and they're looking for something. Maybe they want to change. Maybe the players weren't happy. Hard to say, but
Yeah. I mean, as we know, Montreal is an impatient market, and you get a coach who's been there a little while. They had some success last year, but really it was when he was gone. He had that Hart procedure in the bubble and he left, and then they beat Pittsburgh. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Ducharme has been groomed for a long time. And I mean, let's just face it, it's because he's a French speaking guy. They bring in those guys, they want them to grow up, they want to crop them. And you obviously coached in Halifax, won a Memorial Cup, made a good decision in trading our friend Sawyer. So that puts a good check mark on his resume. But
what did he get back for him? Fuck.
um, I think it's still to be determined.
Future considerations.
Yeah.
No. I think so too. Montreal likes that. They traded Sergachev for Drouin. They like the Quebec born kids. They like I think Ducharme's from Ottawa or something like that too, his name or whatever, but I'm not sure. And Ducharme came up, like, he did the World Juniors, he did everything. Like, he's a little more current events than Claude Julien too, right? Like do all these older coaches really adapt with the times and the skill and the systems, or are they just really good motivators with a supporting cast sometimes too? I wonder. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
like it's because it's a big deal. Like, even just coaching the kids, like trying to come up with a different drill or a different practice, or well, they're getting really good at this. Well, how do you make it harder? How do you make it harder? Like, how do you keep getting better? So, are they that competitive at that, or they just take for granted that they're world class players and they don't? You should be playing like this kind of, instead of, I don't know, having a little different demeanor, just a little more knowledge, or stuff like that. Like, I think you're seeing a lot more guys that played the game coming and coach now than ever before too, right? Like, even Keith had a hockey career.
Right.
There's a lot of that now.
Rick
So
Tocchet.
yeah, well, and I mean, he's a warrior. I think a lot of people would like to play for him. So, like, I think you're going to see more of that too. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. I agree with you. I think Julian's kind of in that Babcock, Hitchcock kind of realm where they're
Yeah,
great coaches. They've been around forever and they've won cups. But yeah, maybe it just gets stale. I mean, I heard Weber say after Sunday's game that he was just kind of tired of hearing the same thing. And I think a lot of the players
yeah,
were. And maybe Ducharme's just a breath of fresh air because I think this Montreal team's better than what they're playing right now. I like them more than probably most people do.
yeah.
And I agree with you that they don't have that superstar like an Austin Matthews for your Leafs, but they got a lot of competent guys. They got a lot of good players, maybe not great players.
Yeah, I don't think they're terrible. I think they're a fast team. You know, and yeah, like they're fairly solid, I guess. But like I said, I and Toronto has their problems too. Like I think Toronto needs you know, a few more ham and eggers, kind of meat and potato guys like on the wing. Like I don't necessarily think Nylander fits in. I think you know, a guy like Hyman's a little more effective because he has the puck less, but he gets the puck to the people that, you know what to do with it, right? Like if you put him with Matthews or Tavares, like he's probably the first guy on the forecheck, but he doesn't sit there and circle the zone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like puck possession when you end up giving it away after 20 seconds of doing nothing. Well, you kind of fuck the whole ship for everybody too, because everyone's going to change here eventually. I don't particularly like Nylander's game. Like I think some of those guys got to go, but I just think in general Montreal doesn't quite have the firepower. I mean, Carey Price is gonna he'll play awesome when it counts. You know what I mean? He's still one of the best for sure. But I think his days are number two, and I think Jake Allen. You know, nice to see New Brunswick boy there. Wish him all the best too. But it's tough. Like it's going to be a tough, and I think the Canadian division is the toughest division by far. Like it's the most competitive, like of
Oh
all
yeah.
the divisions like going
We'll
now.
talk about that because I don't
Yeah,
agree whatsoever about that.
I think
But okay, yeah, that's a big one. I'll have to remember that one to come back to that because wow.
so. Let's go.
Uh, so looking at Montreal's roster, who do you think their best player is right now? Who's the best player that they have on their roster?
Paul Byron, Jeff Petrie. I don't know. I don't. I mean, Price maybe. Like probably Price. Like I mean, if they're gonna move anybody, that's the end. Because you're not going to get a lot of money for other people unless it's Shea Weber later on. If you think someone like Romanov can fill the void, but you really don't. Like, and he's doing well. But I don't know. Not not a firm believer in Canadians right now. That's for sure.
Mm,
Like like give Drouin a tap for if it's a big game, like he's gone. Deno has been shit all year. You
yeah.
know, like I mean, whatever. Maybe people settle in, or they lose a little bit of drive or whatever. But Drouin is going to be the player he is right now, the player he has been the rest of his career. I think like he hasn't turned it like you get like Galchenyuk. He hasn't turned it around yet. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? He had a couple of decent seasons, but after that, like nothing, absolutely nothing. And you get the benefit of the doubt, right? Like Drew had a big World Junior and all that stuff. One out of Tampa. Well, Sergachev is worth more in the NHL on your team right now than Jonathan Drouin.
Oh,
You know
no
what I mean?
doubt.
Like a lot easier to find a winger than defenseman who's going to gobble up 20 plus minutes a night. So anyway, that's my take. Like, who's your favorite player? Who do you got here? This is
Uh,
gonna be stellar, I can tell you.
my favorite player, and who I think their best player. My favorite player on Montreal is Josh Anderson. I think I refer to him and kind of the Wilsons and the Kachucks as
Yeah,
unicorns because we
yeah,
don't see those players that can skate like that can fight, that can be physical, do that
yeah,
often.
yeah,
Who I think their best player is, I want it to be Suzuki because I think the kid's got so much potential. I think he can be a Patrice Bergeron type center. I don't think he'll ever be a 100-point player, but Bergeron's had a great career on great teams where he doesn't put up 100 points and things of that nature. So I'd
yeah,
say Suzuki, but he hasn't been consistent enough. Like you said, Dano has been a no-show when it comes to scoring goals, and Carey Price. he just hasn't been good enough.
No,
Against
no,
Toronto
not at
Saturday
all.
night, that Matthews second goal, that can't go in. I don't care how good his
Oh,
shot is, that can't go in. Like
yeah,
it's a stoppable puck. So
yeah.
they got their issues right now.
I think so too. Like, and I really like Suzuki as well. And he came right straight from junior last year. He never had a transition period. He played right away. So he's obviously very smart if you can do that. Because like a lot of people are equally as fast.
Hmm.
Shoot as hard, but you got to be quite smart, I think, to stick around. And I like Suzuki a lot. Josh, like everybody wants a Josh Anderson.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a Tom Wilson. Like Simmons is getting a little long in the tooth, but I was super happy that he was going to Toronto. You know what I mean? Just because I thought that we needed somebody with, just that kind of demeanor and that brings that kind of presence every game. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to start pushing people around when it comes playoff time too. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like if the refs aren't calling a lot and it's playoff hockey, well, the guys are getting beat up a bit. If no one really, if you don't fight for yourself or have someone that kind of throws the body a little more, and beats the other team up a bit too, like, eventually after 7 games you're done, right? Like
Mhm.
they're gonna beat you if they roll four like Boston. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's what happened with them in Toronto. Like Toronto crushed them the first game, dominated them, and after that Boston started hitting more and just started getting a little more physical, a few more cross checks here and there, pushed them around and took over the series, right? Like so, and there's skill involved, obviously. Fucking Pasternak and Marchand are hard to stop there, but like the end of the day, like Jake DeBrusk, he was hitting everything and scoring goals at the same time.
Mhm.
So, going back to Nylander, circle the zone,
Yeah.
2-0.
So,
Fuck.
yeah, now that we're on the topic of your Leafs, obviously they've had a great start to the year. First in the Canadian division, only 3 regulation losses. They look great, but how would you grade their start? Like for in a letter grade form, say A to F. How would you grade their start to the year when it comes to just play on the ice?
Um, I'd say like a B, probably like a B to a B plus, like depending on the night. Um, like you're not going to score 6 goals a game. Matthews isn't going to have 4 points a game every night. Same as Marner. Like if I still really don't like their D very much. Like I can't stand Travis Dermott.
Mhm.
Can't stand him. Like it just drives me insane. There's other people that could have played. Like I never thought I was going to miss fucking Ron Hainsey until fucking Jake Gardner until we got Dermott and fucking Marincin in the lineup, and then you really hate your life. But no, like I like I still think they got some work there. I like Muzzin, but Muzzin's he's not healthy, as much as you should be. Like he's out right now. He always misses a good 10 to 12 games, and you need a big sturdy guy kind of to. Riley's great, love him, but after that you're getting thin. I think Brody really stepped up, but I think like really Hall's okay. I don't believe all the hype. I think he's kind of getting a little bit more because he was with Keith and the Marlies, which you see sometimes too, like Andreas Janssen and shit like that too. You know what I mean? Like they get the
Mhm.
benefit of the doubt because they want to like a Calder or whatever. But anyway, um, I don't know. Like overall, little soft, in my opinion. They like to be a playoff team, but Matthews playing the body more. Like I said, like I think they started off at a C to at a C level, and they're coming up. Maybe a B plus right now, playing all right. They got shut out the other night, but
Yeah.
not gonna win every fucking game in the NHL. So
No, no. Yeah, I'm right about where you are. I'd say a B two. I think obviously Matthews' play, not just scoring goals, but just his 200-foot game has improved dramatically. And that's the biggest thing about this team for them is that he's actually starting to use his size and his physicality, which he
take
didn't
away.
do for the first 4 years of his career, which always pissed me off watching him. But I agree about Dermott. I kind of joke that Dermott's like my our Dawson Warman. He kind of plays like him. That's the big joke on the podcast between me and kind of Shay and a
Um,
few others.
fuck.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
He
that's
does.
not a very becoming name right there. Not what you want to be known as. I'll take
Yeah.
Chris Pronger if that's available. Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah,
No,
no,
and Tavares hasn't been good this year either.
no,
He just seems a step behind all the
can't
time. I
skate.
don't. Yeah, go on.
Well, he can't skate well. Like, you ever notice that? Like,
Mhm.
transitioning, and when he gets the puck, like, he doesn't have much get up and go, and he just doesn't skate as well. Like, you see Matthews or Marner. Like, I know he's a little older, but he's not that. You know
No,
what I mean? Uh, like where you want him is somewhere around the net. You want him on on the first power play or whatever. Like, if it's around the net or if he's anywhere near the slot, it's going in. Like,
mhm.
guaranteed. Like, he's one of those guys, right? Like, his shots go in. He's a goal scorer. But like, I don't know. I just find his foot speed's not great. Like, if he goes in on the forecheck, like, you actually have to go in with a little bit of ill
Fervor.
intention and, yeah, like, throw some balls and fucking hit this guy. You're 6 foot, one, maybe two, I think. Like, go in there and be on the right side of him, but like, skate all that way in and then you have to peel, but he never gets there in time. Like, I don't know, like, if like next time you watch, just kind of notice, like, you'll see, like, he's a poor. It just seems like he's not as quick as everyone else. Like, if you
Yeah.
ask me, and it's starting to show. And I don't know, like, but in my mind, he's someone that could be dealt, like, because it's not really super detrimental right now. Like, fucking Thornton's a point a game, but not that you want to rely on Thornton forever. Like, Tavares wins face-offs, and he'll come through, I'm sure, right? Like, have a big
He's got a
playoffs or
full no
something.
trade though. He's not going anywhere.
No, he ain't fucking going anywhere. He's got a family and everything now too, so
Yeah.
he's living local. But
Yeah. I think you
I
got to consider putting Marner with him for like a week. I know it breaks up that top line, but to give him a
yeah,
little bit of confidence, I think would go a long way. And maybe you put, William, aka Bill Nylander, with Matthews again, and maybe go Hyman, Marner, and Tavares for a week, and just play that line. You're
yeah,
still going to win most of the games you're playing if you're Toronto, because
yeah,
Calgary can't.
yeah.
Calgary beat them the other night, but they can't pass the puck right now. Vancouver's
No,
blowing 3-goal leads every other night. You
yeah.
got Montreal, who just fired a coach, and then I think Edmonton and Winnipeg are the more consistent teams. But I mean, for the long term, breaking that up for a week doesn't really hurt Toronto.
No, not really. And if it gets him going, I think that's okay too. But I really just think, I don't know, like, and Nylander, like, he just doesn't do anything for me. Like, I think he's got to go. I would have kept Cavan. I like Cavan, and in the playoffs, he was a fucking tank, and he could kill penalties and everything. Like, like, I, I think that they should have maybe tried to make a deal somewhere for Nylander and a D or something if it was available. And then you have more spots. Then you have Kapanen and you have Hyman. You have these guys that are playing that kind of bigger power forward role. You know what I mean? Taking a little more abuse and giving it a bit too. Because like, would you be afraid to play against fucking William Nylander? Like, Jesus Christ, like,
No,
never gonna hit you. You know what I mean? And like, oh, you're gonna circle, 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 like, let her rip from the sideboards or something. Like,
even
it's not.
Kerfoot, he doesn't. He's not a good enough third line center for me. If you're gonna win a
No.
cup, you need an upgrade on him. He doesn't do anything
Oh
for
yeah. No, I think so too. But I mean, you got Joe there too. Like, worst case, he can take a draw. I think they got lots of people that can take a draw too. Um, but I like, their depth might end up getting them, but they've never had D for a long time, and they've never really addressed it. Like they draft 5'10" Finnish defensemen, which like, some are good, some are,
Mm-hmm.
but not all of them, and you can't have a full squadron of them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Timothy Liljegren, he'll never play a fucking game ever,
No,
ever.
he's in
Like,
Alcatraz right now.
yeah, well, he's terrible. Whenever he played, like, I think he played in it was a preseason last year. It was just fucking terrible. And then Sandine, I like Sandine. I think he could play, but they got a crush on Dermott, and I really think that they might as well play Sandine over him.
Yeah.
If you ask me, like whatever Bogosian, he's not a stud, but at
Mhm.
least he's a presence and he doesn't do anything stupid.
No,
Like he's
I think he's been better than people thought he would be. I think he's just been solid,
100%,
which is what you need from him.
100%.
Just be solid
Yes, yes. Be in the way and make a good first pass, and that's it.
and get the
Like,
hell off the ice.
yeah, don't fucking abuse it there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
you're
I
not
like your
on
point
TV.
about them not having good defensemen for a long time. I mean, you've been a Leaf fan for a long time. Who was their
Yeah,
last number one defenseman?
Thomas Caberlet.
Was he really a number one defenseman, Brennan?
Thomas Caberlet was good, man. Thomas Caberlet
I
was
know.
good.
I
He
watched.
led his team in scoring. He led his fucking team in scoring in the NHL.
I
How
know.
are you not a decent defenseman?
I think
Like
he's good.
Thomas
I think he's
Caberlet
good.
was
I just
good.
don't think he was a number one.
Oh my god, Thomas Caberlet was a good fucking defenseman.
He was.
Like he was their number one guy. Like I think like I mean other than that, fuck, you're gonna have to go back quite a ways. Like I think
Because
they
to me,
really haven't
Morgan
had any.
Riley isn't.
Oh no, you don't like Riley?
I think he's good. I don't think he's a number one.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
Are you a FNUF fan too?
No, no,
Or?
no.
Well, I think Riley does well. 100%. I think he does well. I don't know. Like, well, how many number one defensemen are there in the league if neither of those two constitute one?
I don't think there's that many.
So, what do you got?
Yeah, I would say you got Hedman for sure. You got Seth Jones, Roman Yossi.
How many points does Seth Jones have right now?
He doesn't have that many, but he does.
Fuck no, he doesn't. So I mean, how
But
do
it's
you
not.
like?
He's not a point producer, and that's another thing about the league.
If he was,
Defensemen
his
now, you
team
have to
would be
put up
winning more
80
games.
points.
If he was, his team would be winning more games. Like,
I think he's a stud, but
I think he's good too, but I mean,
so is
I
Morgan
don't think
Riley better than Seth Jones?
I think he's in the same category.
Oh, I
Like,
don't even think it's close.
oh, come on. I don't know about that. Like, I don't think Seth Jones is a Victor Hedman.
I don't think
Like,
he is either. But there's no other
no,
Victor Hedman.
not really. No. Like, but I mean, well, where do you have like Hughes and McCarr? Like, where do you have them? Where do you have
Hughes,
Shea Theodore?
Hughes way below. Hughes, yeah, he's good, but he's not great. I don't think you could say he's a number one defenseman yet. If you look at their team and the way, I think he's playing too much, which is half the team's fault there, obviously. McCarr, I have way more faith in. I think the kid's a rock star.
Yeah,
I think he's
absolutely.
a super. I think he's a Norris Trophy, maybe plural, in his future. But I like McCarr. I have McCarr much higher up than Hughes for sure.
Yeah, but like, where does that leave Jones? Like, you know what I mean? A day in, day out guy. Like, you got
But
to have the
you
wins.
were
Like, your
talking
team
about
has to win
playoff
too.
guys. I mean, Seth Jones mauled your Maple Leafs last year, and you beat them.
Yes, yes, he
So
was a
you get him
monster
to
in
the
the playoffs.
playoffs, he's a different cat.
Well, he's got to get there too, though. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And
it's gonna be a
there's
dogfight for sure.
yeah, oh yeah, well, that's it. But see, I mean, so other than Hedman and Jones, who else do you get a crush on here for defense?
uh
Like for pure number one guys,
yeah,
just Shea
they're
Theodore.
few and far between for sure. I see your point, but I would still honestly the way he's played this year, Duncan Keith has been a number one defenseman this year. He's played that well for Chicago. They're winning because of Patrick Kane, but also Keith's been really stable. But he's playing with a bunch of young kids back there. He's had to play a lot for his age. I give him a ton of credit for that.
Yeah, but he's always moved so well. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you ever watch him skate? Like, he just, he's never gonna. He just looks like one of those kind of guys. Like, he just skates so well that no matter how old he gets, he's never going to be a shitty skater. Eventually, he's just going to get kind of sore and tired and
Mm-hmm.
not as many points. He'll hang him up kind of that way, I think. But like, I agree with you. I like Duncan Keith, always have. I think he's been one of the best for a long time. Here's a thing.
Okay.
Speaking of MVPs, you asked me to pick my MVP of the season. I think it's Patrick Kane right
Yeah.
now, the leader for the Hart Trophy.
Yeah. Yeah,
100%.
yeah, I agree. I said on the podcast yesterday, if he can get Chicago to
Yeah.
the playoffs, he should win the award because
Well, they're there now.
yeah, no, they're in it right now. So I mean, if the
Yeah.
season ends and they're one of the top four in the Central, I don't know how he doesn't win it because
Yeah.
he's more valuable to that team than Austin Matthews will be to Toronto because he's got a better cast of characters around him.
Exactly. Exactly. I think so too. And like Taves is out, and
Doc,
that put a lot more pressure on. Yeah. So like fucking Crawford retired. Like everybody's kind of hanging them up. But I think Kane's kind of got like a little bit of the Crosby thing where if you look at people that came through, like Andrew Shaw was a better player when he played in Chicago.
yep,
Brandon Peary was a lot better when he played in Chicago, but they got really good value for him.
Bickle,
Brendan Saad, he was a lot better player in Chicago, but
yeah,
they got good value because he played there and won a cup. Bickle, like a lot of people, you know what I mean? So, and you look at Sidney Crosby, well, I don't think Brian Rust would have been the fucking player, Connor Sheary, like a lot of these guys that just, kind of came, along with and bought in, and they seen the best player on their team working the hardest and having the most fun. Well, kind of got contagious. I think Patty Kane's got some of that too, right? Like, I mean, you ever like if you just watch him in a game, it's fun to watch Chicago. When he's on the ice, it just changes everything. Like he
right.
gets the puck, no one else handles it the same. Like
No,
I find it fun to watch. He's one of the best guys to watch in the show.
I agree completely. I was watching a
Yeah,
lot of that Columbus. They played Columbus last night, and he's like you said. I mean, he's just electric when he gets the puck because he just shoot. He'll look like he's gonna pass. It's in the back of the net, and then he'll do a pass over 3 sticks, and then it'll somehow
yeah,
land. And he's great at his underrated part of his game is just stealing pucks in the
yeah.
ozone. The way he does that so effectively. I
But
think
he's super
Matt Matthews
deceptive.
does a little bit of that in his game now. I think he's taken a little bit of that from Kane because he knows,
Yeah,
I think he looks up to him so much being an American. So yeah, I think I agree with you. Kane's must watch TV.
yeah, for sure. But I think, yeah, I think he's got my vote right now for the Harry. Like I like Patrick Kane anyway, but just given the circumstances and the team's been through, and they made some coaching changes and
Hmm.
all that shit too, and this rebuilding stuff and whatnot. The band kind of got broke up a bit, but I think like Pius Suter, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like 24-year-old, 5'9", fucking winger from Switzerland that like never drafted or anything. You think he's just gonna walk on any team and
Play big
like
minutes.
12 points or close to 15 points? Like I don't think so. Like, do you think Kubalik would have
No,
walked on to another team and had the season he had? I don't think so. Like,
Kurashev too.
yeah, like so. No, that's where I'm going. Like, and McDavid's McDavid, but McDavid, you've yet to see him put the team on his back and fucking, what I mean, win the game and lead them,
Hmm.
to where they got to get to, right? Like, that's my kind of knock with him. Like, he's unbelievable. Like, and it's fun to watch him. Obviously, he's probably the most skilled in the world. But in my mind, I think Sid's still kind of the best winner, and he's still, he might be the best player all around. Like, still, you know, but
Hmm.
probably don't agree with that one.
No, I don't. But that's
Best, dude.
I respect Sid a ton. I think he's a top five player all time.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just not a fan. I just don't really enjoy watching him play. I think he's for superstars. I think he's one of the biggest crybabies in the history of the league.
Oh, come on.
He bitches after every time he falls on the ice, Brennan. He's looking at the
He
refs
did. He used to. He used to, but
quite
probably
frequently.
fucking hurt when you're 18 and you get fucking mauled to death there. Like, and really, you should probably fucking not say a word because you're gonna get fucking chirped worse or anything. But no, but see, I think I don't
I
know.
still think he's a top five player in the league for sure. I don't disagree with you. And
Yeah,
I don't
but
have him, 35th. I mean, I think he's top five for sure.
yeah, but I just think like that's what's missing from McDavid for like every team. Crosby's in the World Juniors. Well, we won fucking gold. Oh,
Hmm.
Crosby's in the Olympics. Well, we fucking won gold. Who scored the fucking goal? like
Right.
3 cups. Like, there's not much he hasn't really done, and you know what I mean. If he makes it to the playoffs, you still got to beat him. You know what I mean. He's one of those guys you kind of got to beat to win, right? Like if you hit them. So that's what I think. But
So would you have McDavid too in your MVP right now?
probably. I mean, he's gonna get it anyway, just because he's like 2 points a game.
Right.
Like on any team, if you're 2 points a game and you're winning most of your games, all right. I mean, fucking Taylor Hall won it one year in New Jersey. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like that, but I think he's definitely has to be on the ballot if you're doing a top three, but not like I said. For having that many points, why aren't they in first place? Like why aren't
Right.
they? That's
So
my thing.
does that mean you'd have Matthews two or like in your top three as well?
I don't know if I'd have Matthews there or not. Like, I love Matthews. I love the fucking goal scoring. I love his shot. I love all that stuff. I think he's playing unbelievably well. I think Marner is playing really well too. Matthews I think has to be probably in the conversation, but I'm not gonna lie. I haven't watched everyone play this year. I'm sure there's someone that's really carrying their team as well. So it's hard to Anze Kopitar, you know what I mean? Fuck, like
Mm-hmm.
LA, they should be way down in the fucking basement, and they're doing all right. Like, so certain. And when you look around and who they have, who he has to play with, to even get what he gets, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a tough league. Like if you're dressing Michael Hutchison and you're going into Edmonton tonight, like chances are it doesn't really fucking matter who you got. Like they're gonna put 10 or 8 past him. Like
Yeah.
like it's a tough league. Like, so I don't know. Like we'll see how it plays out. Like someone's gonna get hurt too. So
Right.
that always happens, right? Like no one plays a full 82 anymore. It seems, but except
Yeah.
for Keith Yandel, that
Yes.
pissed me off.
Keith
Fucking
Yandel and
Florida.
Phil Kessel.
Wow. I could see Phil because he doesn't engage too much.
Yeah.
Like Yandel defenseman and fucking block shots, but like I can't believe they're Quenneville's on a fucking bench under scratch in the first of the year. That's crazy.
I think that was the GM more than Quenneville.
Oh,
Because Quenneville stepped in and basically said, "Yeah, I'm not going to take the heat for this. Like, I'm not going to be the scapegoat for you guys taking away his Iron Man streak. Like, trade
yeah.
him or shut up. Like he's playing."
Yeah, and I mean he's gonna produce. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
never not produced yet. So I don't know how you don't put him in your lineup 100%. Like I think he's someone that can add a lot to anyone's lineup if he was available. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? He's gonna help anyone going forward. I think like 100%. That'd be a good
So
deadline deal for somebody.
yeah,
Dermot, Dermot, how do you like Florida Buck?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it'd be an upgrade over him for sure.
oh,
Going back to a comment you made earlier that the
yes,
Canadian division is the toughest division in hockey.
I think so.
Why do you think this?
They have the most pressure, 100%. Like you know, Toronto, Montreal, they have to play each other all the time. Like there's no fans there, so I mean it's probably weird that way, but I just think like everyone's watching those games, right? And everyone knows somebody who is a Flames fan. Um, since McDavid there's all these new fucking Oiler fans around here, like bandwagon jumpers and stuff. uh, you know, Beersy's kind of a Canucks fan, you know what I mean? Like fucking shit like that, Like anyway, I just think that there's more pressure in the Canadian markets for sure. Like no question. And like I think it's hard to play and I think the expectations are high and I think the media is all over them. You know what I mean? Like I really doubt the Anaheim Ducks get the covers they used to. You know what I mean? Like think about it. Like because no one really cares that much. I'm sure they get lots, but and is it as negative? Is it what I mean? What's it like? Because one thing about the states too, like yeah, they'll shit on you a little bit here and there, but like whatever town they're in, they fucking support the team. You know what I mean? If someone does something stupid or whatever here or there, yeah. But oh, even if it's Anaheim or Columbus, like the media is not like, oh, like goddamn Jackets, you know what I mean, fucking whatever, like you know what I mean. They're all a lot more supportive, and they don't scrutinize like, I don't know, everything they do. So I think it's a lot tougher in Canada. Like, so I think that adds a lot. I think the teams are competitive. I think Calgary should be a lot better. Um, Vancouver started out all right, but they settled into where they should be because they don't. I don't think they have much of a team really. Like their goalies might catch hot. Toronto, they're doing what they should be doing. Montreal's always going to give you a game because they're always built kind of fast, and if they get the goaltending and their D's all right, they probably have their D might even be better than Toronto's like most nights. Not as flashy, but Romanov, he doesn't have much for points, but seems to be in the right place a lot. Like he's a good skater. He takes away a lot of space. Like you know that wears people down. Like it's taking away chances too. So anyway, I don't know. That's what I think. Like because if you look at some of them, like fucking Anaheim, Phoenix, like Dallas, like all right, well, throw the Boston Bruins in with them. You know what I mean? Like throw Tampa in with those guys. Like Anaheim has to play and Arizona has to play Tampa fucking 10 times this year. Like it's not going to go well. like, so like that's my thing. Like what do you think? Like I mean maybe the Metro or whatever, I guess. What's it called now? The
Yeah,
Mastercard or something.
the I just call it the East because it's basically,
Yeah.
it's it I think the East is the toughest. I agree with your point about the media attention. Clearly up here, the Canadian division is talked about ad nauseum. And you don't really hear about the other teams, and some teams are playing really well. Like you don't hear about the Florida Panthers that are, quietly having a great year, or Florida or Carolina, who's having a really strong start to the year. But
Yeah.
I look at that East. You got Boston at the top. I mean, they speak for themselves. They're just so consistent year in, year out. You
Yeah.
got Washington, who's a strong team. Won a cup 2 years ago. They still have the nucleus of a winning organization. You have, Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins in that division. You got the Islanders, who have made it to the second round and conference final the past 2 years, respectively. And then you also got Philly, who are another strong team. So if you look at those five, the Rangers have hit the ditch to start the year, and they're going through some struggles. But you look at that top five, it's hard to match that. I look at the Canada, Calgary, Vancouver, they're just not there yet. When I don't see them being as competitive as the bottom half of that top five in the East.
Yeah. Like I'll give that to you a bit, but um like I don't think Washington's the Washington they were necessarily. I don't think Washington's gonna win another cup. That was what they got. Like Washington's done. Um I think they're a bit old. I just don't think they have it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they're there. The Islanders, um, have they been overachieving or have they been well coached? And you know what I mean. And sometimes it takes people a little ways to heat up. Like young teams seem to start a little better because they're in shape.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit quicker. So like Pittsburgh, like they'll go on a little streak here, I think, for sure. But yeah, no, I agree. Like that is a really tough division, but still, like I don't know if the expectations are as high in certain towns. You know what I mean to perform, and there's actually a lot of fighting this year. Like, did you
Yeah.
notice that? Like, I mean, it's kind of entertaining because, like, even if I don't catch the games, I'll just check the box scores and like for the hockey pool and stuff and see, and you'll see penalties and all that stuff or whatever, so you can kind of go rewatch the fights and all this stuff, which is kind of funny. I mean, you want to see what line A's got. You see that on the score sheet, which fucking pillows. I think like that wasn't too impressive, but yeah, no, I think that's tough too. But other than that, like, even Central or whatever, like Detroit and some of those teams, it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's as tough at all for sure. Like nowhere near. But
Yeah. I'd have the Canadian division third for me. I got the Central above Canada too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I just think there's no consistency. I mean, Vancouver and Calgary have been pretty terrible all year. Montreal has not played consistently. Winnipeg's been off and on. Edmonton, I mean,
Well,
started playing good as of late. Toronto's been the only constant in the Canadian division.
yeah, but I think that's good. I mean, someone's going to be at the bottom. Someone has to be at the bottom. I mean, the more games you play, like, the more defined it gets. But someone's always going to be in the fucking bottom. Like, there's always going to be the worst team out of the 10 best teams. Like,
Hmm.
so, like, I just think from a competitive standpoint, like, it seems like the games are quite competitive. But I mean, they also broadcast them more and stuff like that. Like, best time to really watch American games is on like Sunday or stuff because they always
Right,
play them. Like,
NBC broadcast, yeah.
yeah. But really, like, no, I mean, whatever. Like, I know some are tight, and your boy Seth Jones plays in the fucking Central, so God help the other fucking teams there. Fucking real.
Not
Yeah,
got
I
a
don't
hit
know.
on for great defenseman.
I am a defenseman. They're my favorite thing. Ask anyone on the hockey
Clearly
team.
not,
Fucking
because
draft
you don't like
defenseman.
him.
I don't fucking love him. I don't,
Yeah, like
have a
love
little
Morgan
fucking
Riley.
shrine in my closet there or anything. Fuck. Here you go. How about your other topic here? Surprise team.
Yeah, who's the team that surprised you so far this year? Good or
Well,
bad?
I'm gonna go through it real quick here. We're gonna go Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Impressed with them. Didn't see that coming, but can never count out Patty Keene. Uh, Happy with Florida. I'm not sure if it's the coaching or what. Carolina, strong D, consistent forwards. Not sure what's going on there. They either must have good coaching or stuff too, because they really don't have that great of a squadron. And really, like LA and Mini are kind of overachieving a little bit too. You know what I mean? So
Right.
because Mini really doesn't have anybody. They didn't even know
No,
who their goalie was
no.
going to be this year or anything. So yeah, no, I like them. I like Carolina. Like Carolina always has like balanced scoring. You're always waiting for Aho to blast out with like a 90-point season and stuff like that, but it doesn't come. But it's probably just because he does a lot of little things right, and everybody kind of chips in there. But I'm not sure what they're up to. But I like Carolina. I think I didn't see them being where they are for sure, especially with James fucking Reimer.
Yeah,
Unreal.
yeah.
Like, wow. He's just setting them up.
He's got two
He's gonna
regulation
let them down
losses.
here.
He's playing great.
Yeah, well, he'll let them down
Yeah, yeah,
here. Yeah, break up past the Gardner.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So he'll let them down, but I mean, maybe they'll keep it going. But I mean, what like do you think teams like that, like it's more coaching or what? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of it has
is
to
a lot of
do
it
like Florida.
management?
Florida for sure, because Florida's got a roster full of guys that are just kind of cast-offs. You got like
Yeah,
Wenberg from Columbus, you got
yeah,
Verhaeghe from Tampa, Hornquist that Pittsburgh couldn't wait to get rid of.
yeah,
Duclair, who's
yes,
bounced
suitcase.
around. Yeah, Suitcase, exactly. A bunch
Yeah,
of guys from Europe that have never played NHL games yet.
yeah,
They seem to gel, and they got Chris Drieger in net, who's
yeah,
surpassed Bobrovsky as their starter, and he's a journeyman.
yeah,
So I think it's got a lot to do with coaching, and you can say the same thing for Carolina because you look at the Nito Niederreiters of the world, the Vincent Trocheks, who have
yeah,
been producing. Jordan Staal's kind of found his game again. So I
yeah,
think Brandon Moore, Quenneville, those are two pretty damn good.
yeah, yeah. I think so too. I think so too. Would you put Huberto in your MVP conversation?
Absolutely, yeah, he'd be my top three for sure.
Yeah,
I just think if Florida doesn't have him, they're nowhere close to being competitive or being in a playoff spot. I think he
yeah,
drives. He's the engine of that team for sure.
I think so too. Any game you see, and you just see the point totals. Like if they win 4-3, well, he's got a goal and two apples for sure.
Yeah.
And timely points too. So I think Barkov's a good player, but I don't think you could send Barkov anywhere. I don't think he'd be anything without playing next to Huberdeau. Like, as far as that goes, I think he'd be good, but just not. I don't think it's the same, if you ask me. But no, I agree with that. But yeah, fucking Carolina, man. Like, and then Nedeljkovic, he had a shutout the other night too.
Yeah, he shut out Tampa Bay.
Fucking 6-foot goalie from Ohio.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're getting lucky or what, but like, but all that storm surge bullshit that they're doing, maybe they get along good, They must have a good room, right? Because they haven't changed too many personnel. They
No.
added Trocheck, like, who is a good player. Like, I can't believe Florida just get rid of him.
They gave him away for nothing for Walmart.
Yes.
That was just like, okay, take a good player. We don't want him.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Here you go. He's our best guy. You probably want him. Fuck. Anyway, you wonder why you're losing and stuff too, because he wasn't like Trocheck's not big money.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, he puts out decent points. Anyway.
Yeah, just stupidity. I mean, that's So, how about you? Surprise? Who's the best team in the NHL right now for you?
Oof. Well, I got to go with Toronto because they're my team for sure. For sure. And they are in first place. They are in first place overall. Yeah, that's who I like. There's a lot of teams. Like I said, people are gonna catch up and people are gonna pass people too. Like, Tampa's still a really good team. Like, I think. Boston's still gonna be a good team. Like, I don't think Edmonton's there yet. Really. Like, happy with Darnell Nurse. I think he's turning into a fucking stud, but he's always been good. But I don't know, really. Like, other than that, like, no one, I don't know. Like, I go with Toronto for now. Like, it's a weird season, man. Like, and then people don't play games forever. Like,
I know.
Everyone was how about this? How fucking disappointing are the Buffalo Sabres? Like, this was going to be the year.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall, fucking.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall never won shit. Like, he's Edmonton's fucking in the basement when he was there. Then he went to Phoenix, and they're in the fucking basement.
Yeah.
Like, Devils suck. I don't know. Like, should Eichel be better? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think it may be a coaching thing or something going on there too. Because you got Dahlin as a world class fucking defenseman. You know what I mean? Like, your personnel isn't that bad. Like, I don't know.
I think they're a really soft team. I think they built a really soft team, and that could be Kruger, because I don't know why people loved the hire, because when he was in Edmonton, he had no success, and then he doesn't coach for 5 years, and he's coaching soccer, and then they say, okay, we gotta hire this guy. Like, this guy's a must hire, this soccer coach, and they bring him in, and the Skinner contract is a disaster. It's an anchor on any team. I mean, $9 million. He's been healthy scratch the last 2 nights.
Have you ever fucking followed hockey? If you did, you'd know that Skinner plays 50, maybe 56 games a year his whole fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, you can't build around that. It's like signing. Might as well sign Joffrey Lupul while you're at her. Fucking add him in there. You know what I mean? Like, just a career Band-Aid guy. Maybe it's bad luck. I'm sure they would like to play. But you know what? Some people fucking play through a little bit of stuff that other people don't. They have to. There's no way that you have just year after year, I broke this year, I broke that. Well, eventually you're going to be fucked. So, like, 30 plus games missed a year all the time. I just can't. I can't believe that it's all injury and he's just that injury prone. Like, but then again, like 50 some games a year, like, you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, good point. Maybe they are too soft, but back to the Leafs, I think they're a little too soft. That's why I like the old Wayne Simmons.
Yeah, I felt so bad for him when he got hurt, because he was playing fantastic.
He just started coming on. Fuck, 2-goal night.
Yeah.
Broke his fucking hand, beat Sherratt right to the
Yeah.
ball there.
Yeah, that was
Didn't mind seeing that.
Sherrod's no slouch. He can go.
Oh, fuck Sherrod. Fuck. I like to see Anderson go a little bit more there. Fucking, he hasn't done much. Fuck.
Yeah.
Hey, your boy
Anderson,
Josh.
yeah, he doesn't need to. He's scoring goals.
Yeah. Don't forget why you're where you are, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay. Start thinking you're a fucking goal scorer.
Right.
You'll be on waivers here in fucking 2 years. So
Okay.
who's that? Your girlfriend there, barking or what?
Yeah, that's Dirk, the old to the point mascot.
I
Just
guess.
not giving her the attention that she feels she deserves, so she gets a little PO'd.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I agree with your list for the most part. I'd throw Vegas in there too.
Yeah, I
Vegas,
agree with that.
I think they got two number one defensemen in Shea Theodore and Pietrangelo. They got,
Yeah.
a solid lineup. I mean, Mark Stone's playing at a really high level this year. Yeah, they still got that Smith, Marchessault, Carlson line, which is really effective. And Marc-Andre Fleury has turned back the clock a little bit. I mean, 3 shutouts already this year. They're definitely a cup contender for sure.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I forgot about Vegas, but I think Shea Theodore is kind of a revelation. Like,
Mhm.
I think you're going to see him around a lot more at All-Star games and everything. And how do you think Pitt feels? Fucking Flurry. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
he's never been bad. Like, even since he's gotten to Vegas, like, oh
No.
well, like try and split time a little bit. Like, he's never had a poor attitude. He's always been a winner. Like, really, really happy for him. And he's a good guy, man. He just seems like a really good guy too.
I mean, every
So
teammate loves him. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think Fleury's a big part of that too. Um, but yeah, no, I like Vegas. I think they'll be hard to beat. But then again, you're fucking playing practice all year. You might as well be playing shinny because you're playing the Ducks and fucking
mhm.
Phoenix and you're LA. Like,
Yeah, no, the
you know,
Colorado and St. Louis matchups are the tough ones for them, and after that, it
uh,
drops dramatically.
yeah, and Colorado really struggles with COVID there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really have it under control very well. Right? Do you find like there's a lot of canceled games? Like,
Oh yeah. I mean, there's another
yeah,
one tomorrow night. San Jose and Vegas has already been canceled for tomorrow
yeah.
night. So
And you look at the list of like the starting lineups are projected. Like, oh well, this guy. Okay, well, that's the whole fucking starting lineup because that's 7 forwards and 4 defensemen. Oh, they're all in close contact. Well, no shit, it's the whole team then.
yeah,
I find it's going to be hard. Do you think they'll play out the season?
I don't think
Like
every
all
division
game?
will. No, I think you'll see some divisions and playoff spots be determined by point percentage for sure.
Yeah.
Which they got through it in baseball, but you can't play double headers in hockey. So
No.
that if that
No.
Central Division has another hiccup, or say Dallas has another shutdown, there's no way. And they've only played 14 games.
Yeah. Yeah, they're hurting. Like Dallas had a rough start,
Mhm.
and Buffalo was missing quite a few too. Where they were.
Yeah, Buffalo, New Jersey, like so. I hope they can get there, and maybe they can extend the season if they do cancel the Olympics, which I
Yeah.
still think is going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable, just the way the world is right now. But maybe I'm wrong.
They got
But
to go though. They're pushing. They're saying they're going to go, but
yeah,
of course they're going to say that, right? They don't want to lose
right.
any money.
I'm sure they'll wait till the last possible second. But I mean, it was about a couple weeks ago last year that they canceled the original Olympics that were supposed to happen. Obviously, a lot has changed since, but up here in Canada, we're not getting that many vaccines, so I don't know how many Olympic athletes are going to be top priority to get one before the Olympics
Yeah.
this summer.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it all depends how it's controlled now. Everyone else does it too, but and even with the vaccine, I mean, are you're just cured, never gonna get it? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I think there's little research on that yet too. Because there's no data. You know what I mean? There's no real
No, there,
fucking
yeah,
data. There's no like, oh well, we gave 8 people the fucking vaccine and they never got it yet. Well, 8 out of 1 million isn't really good fucking numbers, to judge. So, until they do the whole province or do like X amount or a whole region or some shit like that. I don't think there's any real data coming back on that yet. So unless they clean up, it probably will be. But speaking of Jersey, how bad is PK Subban?
I think he's been better than he has been the past couple of years.
Oh
That's
my
not
God.
saying
Right
much.
up there with Seth Jones. Right up there with Seth.
No, I think he's been better. Have you watched him play the last 2-3 years? He's been terrible.
Yes.
So I think he's been a little bit better than that.
Well, I don't know. Like, fuck. He's at like 0.01 points per game now. You know. Anyway, I mean, whatever. Like, I disagree. He's terrible. He's done. You know what I mean? He's making a lot of money, and it's over for him.
No, I
think he
don't
gives a shit
disagree.
anymore.
I think the contract's terrible, and I don't think he's the player he used to. I'm just saying, in grand scheme, I think he's better than he has been. Last 2-3 years. It's been a disaster the past 2-3 years.
So you are kind of a super fan, eh? You following PK along with Seth here.
I follow the league. That's what I do.
This fucking, where's your Willie O'Ree jersey behind you there? Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, Frank. Yeah, no.
play the game. If you can play the game well, I'll root for you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, no, it would be nice to see him bounce back a little bit, but never been my cup of tea there, old PK.
No,
Just kinda,
I don't like all the antics and everything either. He's
no.
never been my favorite player, but New Jersey's a mess, and I think he's playing with what he has,
Yeah, that's
which
true.
isn't much.
Where do you think New Jersey goes here? Do you think they'll turn it around?
Not this year. No,
Well, not this year for sure,
not,
but
not this. But I
you know,
mean, they got Hughes. He looks like a better player in year 2. Blackwood, I think, is a decent goaltender. I think they still need to see him play some more.
yeah,
Severson
yeah,
on the point is pretty good. Ty Smith looks like a pretty solid player. They still have a lot of the veterans that I think they need to get rid of, in the Palmieri's and the Zajaks that have been there a long time and kind of have a youth movement. But
yeah.
I don't think they're well suited yet, but they're 2-3 years away, I'd say, from being playoff
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if they can, they need to. But the problem is finding people that can replace like the Ajax and the Palmieri. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how do you replace a guy that's going to put in 30, 35 goals? You know, that's just not. You don't just call someone up from the A that's automatically going to do it too.
No, fair point.
And they're not getting any scoring from the D other than Ty Smith, really, because Butcher has shit. He was shit the bed last year.
He's been a healthy scratch all year.
Yeah, he had one good year. First year he came in, and then that was it. Faded. But yeah, no, they're. I like Blackwood. I think he can be a legit number one.
Yeah, me too.
I kind of like him, but I don't know. I thought they would have been better, personally, than what they're doing. But anyway, not much you can do, I suppose. Who else you got?
Yeah. Well, no, we've been going an hour here. It's been fun, but I don't want to. I know your Leafs are kicking off here in a little bit. So, what are your predictions for tonight's game?
My predictions for tonight. I got 4-1 Leafs.
4-1 Leafs. How many goals for Matthews?
2.
Okay. So Hutchinson only allows 1 goal tonight.
I think so. Hutchinson's in tonight?
Yeah, Hutchinson's getting the start.
Could have fucking said that before you asked the question.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 5-4 overtime then.
Yeah. Yeah. Hyman's back, but still no Muzzin, Thornton, or Freddie tonight.
Yeah, well, Muzzin will hurt there. Thornton, they won without him. So I think they'll be okay. Like, I think they got some depth there, but Muzzin hurts because, who's in? Gonna get some more minutes.
Your boy, Dermott.
Travis. I wish he'd go to Columbus, play with Seth, and learn the ways of the best defenseman ever created.
Certainly wouldn't hurt him, I'll tell you that.
I wouldn't mind trading him for Seth Jones either.
Oh, now we've completely come full circle. Now you've finally accepted Seth Jones. So I think it's the perfect place to wrap tonight. But Brennan, it's been a ton of fun talking with you. I know you got the kids and everything, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your night. And thanks for coming on. We'll have to do this again.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me. All the best, buddy.
Everybody, thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and until then, we'll talk soon.